My child, pause for a moment. Don't rush past what is happening right now, or promise yourself you'll return when life feels less busy. Don't dismiss the stirring inside your heart, or explain it away as something ordinary. I placed this moment before you with purpose, and I want you to hear what I have to say before you continue on your way. You did not arrive here by accident, and this meeting was never left to chance. Heaven has been aware of this moment long before you noticed it, and there is a reason your attention has settled here. Even if your mind questions what you are feeling, something deeper within you already recognizes that this moment carries meaning. Stay with me a little longer, because this pause is necessary. I know what filled your thoughts before you came here. I know the burdens you have carried quietly, the questions you have avoided, the prayers you continue to whisper, and the hopes you have almost released because waiting has felt so long. I did not call your attention simply to fill a moment. I drew you here because something significant is beginning to unfold in your life, and I want your heart to recognize it when it comes. Readiness does not grow from controlling every outcome or planning every detail. It grows when you become willing to listen. That is why I am speaking now. You sense this invitation because heaven itself has gently slowed your steps, and although you may not understand why you feel so alert or so still, your spirit recognizes my voice before your mind fully understands it. Do not push aside what I am saying. Ignoring my voice will not make it disappear. It will only delay what I have been preparing you for. I am not calling you because I want fear to take hold of your heart. I am speaking because I love you too deeply to remain silent when the timing of your life matters this much. I do not interrupt a person's path without purpose. I see the road ahead of you, the choices waiting before you, and the quiet changes already taking shape beneath the surface of your life. Because I see what you cannot yet see, I am speaking now. Something is already moving, even if it has not yet become visible, because the greatest works often begin quietly before they are revealed. Stay with me. Resist the urge to hurry past this, or let distraction steal what your heart is beginning to receive. Do not dismiss the weight of what you are sensing. What I am about to reveal will bring clarity where confusion has lingered, steadiness where uncertainty has lived, and understanding where your heart has long been searching. But that begins by remaining present. Life has taught you to keep moving, to stay busy, and to protect yourself by never slowing down. Yet this moment is different. Pausing here is not time lost. It is where your heart comes back into alignment. You have carried questions without answers, burdens too heavy to set down, and expectations that have left you exhausted. Before those things shape your next step, I want to speak into them. You may wonder if these are simply words, another message passing by like so many others. Listen more carefully to your spirit than to your habits. Notice how something inside you has become attentive, even while another part of you wants to move on. That response is more than curiosity. It is recognition. You know my voice. You have heard it before in moments of peace, conviction, comfort, and quiet direction. There were times you did not follow it, yet you always knew it was mine. These words will not settle into every heart, and many will continue without hearing them. But you have remained here, and that matters, because heaven never treats moments like this lightly. When I speak with urgency, it is because listening now will spare you from carrying unnecessary weight later. I am not trying to frighten you. I am caring for you. What lies ahead is not unfolding because you forced it or earned it, but because the season before you is changing, and the waiting, the disappointment, and the perseverance you have lived through have quietly prepared you for it. Do not tell yourself that you are unprepared. Readiness has never depended on having every answer. It begins with a willing heart that listens and responds. Do not believe that worthiness is the condition for hearing my voice. What I ask of you is willingness, and do not keep telling yourself that you can always decide later. Tomorrow is uncertain, but this moment is clear. If your foundation stands firm in Christ, say, Amen. I have your attention because I desire to steady what lies ahead of you. I am speaking because silence would leave you unprepared, and moving forward without hearing me would cost you peace. This is not pressure. It is loving guidance. This is not fear. It is my care for you. Stay with me just a little longer. Let the noise around you grow quiet. Let your breathing become slower, and allow your heart to soften instead of remaining guarded. You do not have to understand everything today. All I am asking is that you listen. I will lead you one step at a time, and I will walk with you through everything that comes next. Treat this moment as sacred. Do not hurry beyond it, or harden your heart against what your spirit already recognizes. I am here, and I am speaking to you. What I am about to share carries more weight than you can fully see right now. So today, remain here and listen. Do not rush ahead. Something significant is unfolding in your life, and this is where your understanding begins. My child, be still for a moment. Let your steps slow down, let your thoughts stop racing ahead, and let your hands rest instead of reaching for the next distraction. I am speaking to you now, and this moment has been prepared by heaven with intention and care. You were never meant to hurry past it, postpone it, or allow it to fade into the background of another busy day. Whatever held your attention before this can wait. What I am about to say should not. These words are not here to stir your emotions for a few passing moments and then disappear. They come from my heart to meet you exactly where you are. I know how restless you have been, how difficult it has been to quiet your thoughts, and how your heart has searched for peace even when everything around you seemed calm. Do not mistake that restlessness for weakness, or believe it has no purpose. You have tried to silence it, distract yourself from it, and explain it away. Yet it has remained because it was never meant to disappear. It has been drawing you toward this very moment. Heaven has gently reached into your day and invited you to pause, because this interruption carries purpose. I know how easily life teaches you to keep moving, to stay occupied, and to avoid stillness, because quiet moments often uncover the weight you have been carrying. Yet stopping here is not falling behind. It is where your heart finds alignment. It is where protection begins. It is where preparation quietly takes shape. I am asking for very little only, your attention and your honesty before me. Allow your mind to become still, and let your spirit listen. I am closer than you realize. I speak with authority, not to overwhelm you, but to steady your heart. True authority is not always loud. Sometimes it is simply unmistakably clear, and clarity is exactly what you need in this moment. You have lived surrounded by noise, by voices pulling you in different directions, by expectations that have pressed heavily upon you, and by questions that seem to echo without answers. I have made room for my voice, because clarity cannot flourish where chaos fills every space. It grows where there is stillness, where a heart is willing to listen. That is why this moment feels different. Do not mistake my urgency for pressure. Pressure is driven by fear and demands that you perform. My urgency is born out of love and simply asks for your attention. I am not asking you to repair your entire life today. I am asking you to allow me to speak into it, and there is a profound difference between the two. You may feel tempted to move on, to scroll away, to check something else, or to postpone this because it feels deeply personal. That impulse is not wisdom, it is resistance, and resistance often hides beneath the appearance of busyness. Stay present with me instead. What you continue to avoid will wait for you and often become heavier, but what you place before me now will be met with my grace. This moment has been arranged because you've reached a place where continuing without hearing my voice would cost you more than taking time to listen. I see the road before you. I see the decisions beginning to take shape. I see how close you are to changes you cannot fully recognize yet. And because I see them, I am speaking before you step forward. I never intervene without purpose. I come when awareness is needed before action. If you would like to help continue sharing messages that encourage faith and devotion to God, you are welcome to support this work through the support link or QR code provided in the description. Now hear this. I am not speaking to a crowd in general. I am speaking to you. I know your story. I know the questions you still carry, the prayers you continue to whisper, and the ones you quietly stopped praying because waiting became so difficult. I know the places where you feel confident, and the places where uncertainty still lingers. Nothing about your life is hidden from me, and nothing about this moment is ordinary. I have paused you because I want to guide you before uncertainty carries you farther than clarity should allow. Gentle redirection is far easier than painful correction. This interruption is an act of mercy. It is guidance born from love, never condemnation. I am not drawing your attention to every mistake you have made. I am pointing your heart toward what matters now. The restlessness within you has never been your enemy. It has been quietly telling you that you have outgrown something, that your heart is no longer meant to remain where it once was, emotionally, spiritually, or mentally. Without direction, restlessness becomes frustration. So I am giving direction to what you've already been feeling. You are not losing your peace because something is wrong with you. Your heart is being stirred because change is drawing near. Change begins with awareness, and awareness often begins with an interruption. If I had allowed you to continue at the same pace, you might have missed what has been unfolding quietly beneath the surface of your life. This is not the time to analyze every detail. Understanding will come, but first you must receive. Let my words rest gently in your heart without trying to explain every part of them immediately. Allow your spirit to embrace what your mind may need time to understand, trusting that clarity unfolds one step at a time. I know how accustomed you are to carrying responsibility, making difficult decisions, and holding everything together. I am not asking you to abandon those responsibilities. I am simply inviting you to pause long enough to receive my guidance so that what you carry next will be lighter and more closely aligned with my direction. In this moment, strength is not what I require from you. An open heart is enough. You cannot enter the next season distracted, exhausted, or unaware of what I am doing. I want you awake to my leading. I want you to hear me, Sinai. I want you to hear me not because I demand perfection, but because readiness protects you. Readiness is not measured by confidence. It begins with a willing heart that chooses to stop and listen, and by remaining here you have already taken that step. I am not asking you to make every decision today. I am asking you to remain present while I speak, because decisions become clearer when they grow out of truth instead of pressure. Let truth settle deeply before you move forward. This moment is holy, not because it feels extraordinary, but because it has been intentionally prepared. I am here with you. I have never left you to figure everything out alone, nor have I been watching your life from a distance. I am present, I am guiding you, and I have gently interrupted your path because I care deeply about where you are going. Remain here with me just a little longer. Let the urgency you feel become something that steadies your heart instead of filling it with fear. Let the weight of this moment anchor you rather than overwhelm you. You are safe in my presence. You are fully seen. And even now I am preparing you for what lies ahead. This is why I asked you to stop. It was never to hold you back, but to protect you before you continued on your way. It was never to delay your life without purpose, but to gently bring your heart back into alignment before your next step. This pause was arranged by heaven, and it was prepared with you in mind. My child, your arrival here was never an accident. Nothing about this moment is random, misplaced, or late. Even during the seasons when you felt lost, uncertain, or simply moving through life without direction, unseen hands were quietly guiding your steps. I have been working in your life far longer than you realize. I have guided you in ways your eyes could not see. Some moments moved quickly, others unfolded more slowly, yet every part of the journey was leading you here, to this very moment when your heart was ready to listen. You may believe you discovered these words on your own, but long before your eyes found them, I already knew the day you would be ready to receive them. Every delay, every pause, and every unexpected turn carried purpose. Even when you could not recognize it, none of it was wasted. I was never forcing your path or pulling you against your will. I was walking beside you with patience, honoring your pace, while faithfully keeping you within reach of my purpose for your life. There were moments when you believed you had wandered too far. You questioned your choices and wondered whether you had missed the path beyond recovery. Hear me clearly now. You have never traveled beyond my reach. There has never been a single morning when my eyes were not upon you, and there has never been a step that caught me by surprise. I walked with you through the confusion, through the waiting, and through every detour that seemed meaningless at the time. Living within my timing can feel slow, unfair, and difficult while you are experiencing it. You watched others move ahead and wondered if you had fallen behind, questioning whether your waiting meant you had somehow missed what others seemed to receive so easily. But listen carefully to me now. You are not late. You have never been forgotten. Your life is not measured against someone else's timeline, because my timing is never built on comparison. It is shaped by readiness, and readiness often grows quietly where few people ever notice. I brought you to this moment because something within you has matured. You may not recognize every change, but I do. Waiting has taught you patience, uncertainty has deepened your humility, and disappointment has opened your heart to compassion. None of those seasons were meaningless. They were preparing you to recognize my voice with deeper trust instead of momentary excitement. If these words had reached you sooner, you might have listened without truly receiving them. Today, your heart is ready. If Christ is the firm foundation beneath your life, write, Amen. There were protections surrounding you that you could not see, doors that remained closed, paths that suddenly ended, and relationships that changed without explanation. What felt like rejection in the moment was often my protection working quietly on your behalf. I was guarding your heart from outcomes that would have drawn you away from me or hardened the tenderness I was shaping within you. I was preserving your sensitivity so that when the right time arrived, you would still recognize my voice. You are here because I gently directed your attention. I slowed your pace when you rushed ahead, unsettled you when comfort became complacency, and allowed questions to remain when easy answers would never have satisfied your spirit. That restlessness was never meaningless confusion. It was quietly drawing you forward into my purpose. Heaven does not move in disorder. Even when my work is hidden from your sight, it unfolds with perfect order. Every season carried a purpose that connects to this very moment. Waiting refined your character, silence sharpened your hearing, disappointment clarified the desires of your heart, and delay cleared away distractions that would have kept you from recognizing truth. You may have believed you were simply enduring one difficult day after another, doing your best to keep moving forward. Yet beneath everything you could see, I was weaving together moments you did not know belonged together. Conversations that lingered in your memory, questions that refused to leave you, and thoughts that quietly returned again and again were never empty experiences. They were gentle invitations leading you toward greater clarity. Do not allow shame to convince you that you should have already arrived somewhere else. Shame has never spoken with my voice. I have never measured your life by speed or comparison. I look instead at the growth taking place within you, the honesty of your heart, and your willingness to keep walking with me. You have grown far more than you realize. You have become more discerning, more open, and more aware than you once were, and that is one reason you are here today. Heaven has never watched your life from a distance. I have been present in the smallest details, the timing of events, the doors that closed before they could become traps, and the quiet blessings that appeared without striving. You could not always see the whole picture, but I could, and I am still faithfully leading you. You are standing in this moment because my guidance has brought you here. Alignment is not always comfortable. Many times it feels like waiting, interruption, or an unexpected pause, yet it is always precise. Trust that nothing in your story has been overlooked, not the chapters you wish you could rewrite, not the choices you still regret, and not the years you believe were lost. I am able to redeem every part of it, and I have been doing that more faithfully than you have realized. I have been working in your life quietly, even when you could not recognize my hand. Never believe that you have been forgotten. Those who are forgotten do not find themselves drawn into moments like this with hearts that are awake and listening. You are here because you have always been remembered, because my eyes have remained upon you, and because your life carries value beyond what you can fully see today. This moment has arrived neither too early nor too late. It has come at the time prepared for you. Let that truth settle the anxious thoughts that keep whispering you have fallen behind. You have not been left behind. You are walking within the timing I have prepared, even if you cannot yet see where it is leading. Release the thought that your life has simply drifted, without direction. I have been guiding your steps, sometimes through gentle paths and sometimes through difficult ones, yet always with faithfulness. This message is part of that guidance. It is a reminder that you have never walked alone, that every step has been known, and that your presence in this moment matters. Remain open. Keep listening. Trust the path that has brought you here. Heaven has been involved in your story from the very beginning and remains involved today. You are here because this moment was prepared for you, and because what lies ahead requires the understanding that is quietly growing within your heart. My child, I see everything you have been carrying, including the burdens you have never found words to share. I have watched the weight settle upon you little by little until it became part of the way you wake, breathe, and move through each day. You learned how to carry it in silence. You learned how to smile while your heart felt heavy, and how to keep going while unseen pressure rested upon your shoulders. Do not mistake your ability to carry that weight as proof that it was ever yours to bear alone. I have seen every disappointment that slowly piled upon another, every hope you dared to embrace, only to watch it fade without explanation. I saw you trying to remain hopeful without becoming vulnerable to more hurt, carefully protecting your heart while still longing to keep it open. That quiet tension has exhausted your soul more than you have realized. I have also seen the weight within your mind. I know the endless cycle of replaying conversations, questioning decisions, and wondering whether you chose too quickly, waited too long, or missed the right moment altogether. Even when your body found rest, your thoughts often continued through the night. You tried to quiet them, yet they continued to follow you wherever you went. You longed to stay present, yet memories of the past kept pulling one way, while concerns about the future pulled another. I also see the burden your spirit has carried, the weight of praying without immediate answers, believing while still waiting, and continuing to trust even when certainty seemed far away. You continued to pray when your words felt empty. You continued to listen even when all you seemed to hear was silence. You continued to come before me even when you wondered whether anyone truly saw you. That kind of faith carries weight, not because it is weak, but because it keeps enduring. Perseverance asks something of the heart whenever relief seems delayed. I heard every quiet prayer you offered, especially the ones that never became polished sentences. I heard the prayers that sounded more like sighs than words, the prayers whispered only within your heart because you no longer had the strength to speak them aloud. Not one of those prayers escaped my attention. Silence was never the same as my absence, and waiting was never the same as rejection. I have seen your exhaustion, not only the weariness of your body, but the deeper fatigue that comes from holding yourself together for far too long. It is the kind of tiredness that sleep alone cannot reach, the kind that lingers even after moments of rest have passed. You grew weary of always being the strong one, the one who adapts, the one who keeps moving because others depend on you, and because stopping felt too frightening. I also see how disappointment slowly shaped the way you began to hope. You lowered your expectations, not because your heart stopped caring, but because caring so deeply had become painful. You convinced yourself that this was wisdom, when in truth it was your heart trying to protect itself from being wounded again. I understand why you did that. I do not condemn you for it. I saw the reason behind every wall you built, and I know the confusion you have carried through seasons where nothing seemed clearly right or clearly wrong. More than once you found yourself standing at a crossroads, searching for the path that would finally bring peace. You asked me for signs, you asked for clarity, you asked for reassurance. When the answers you hoped for did not come as quickly as you expected, you learned to keep walking anyway. You continued showing up, fulfilling responsibilities, and putting one foot in front of the other, because life did not pause, simply because your heart was waiting. Yet uncertainty continued to weigh upon you, even when you convinced yourself you could live with it. I saw every season of waiting you endured, waiting for change, waiting for relief, waiting for confirmation, waiting for understanding, waiting for something to finally move. While life seemed to keep moving around you and others appeared to move ahead, your own progress often felt hidden, and that waiting quietly asked more of you than anyone else could see. Every day you remained faithful in that unseen place was shaping something within you, even when nothing around you appeared to be changing. Waiting calls for patience, but a long season of waiting asks for strength, and strength requires something from the soul. There comes a point when the greatest challenge is no longer the delay itself, but continuing to hope while the delay remains. You have spent so much of your strength simply holding on. I know there were moments when you questioned yourself, wondering whether you were too sensitive, too emotional, too cautious, too slow, or somehow never enough. Those thoughts were never rooted in truth. They grew from carrying burdens that were never meant to rest on your shoulders alone, because when pain remains unshared for too long, it begins to change the way you see yourself. It quietly reshapes your perspective until weariness begins to sound like truth. I want to gently restore that vision by helping you carry what has become too heavy. I remember the moments when you cried in silence. I saw the tears you wiped away before anyone could ask why, and the moments you allowed yourself to break just long enough to catch your breath before gathering yourself together again. I saw the quiet strength it took to step back into the room as though nothing had happened, even while your heart still ached. You reminded yourself that others had greater struggles, that you should simply be grateful, and that strength meant staying quiet. But true strength has never required silence, and gratitude has never erased the reality of pain. You were never wrong for feeling what you felt. A heart that feels deeply is not a heart that has failed. It is a heart that is still alive. I also saw how difficult it was to continue trusting me when your circumstances offered so little reassurance. I know the questions that rose within you, the moments you wondered whether I was listening, whether I truly cared, or whether your prayers still mattered. There were days when my silence seemed louder than any answer you hoped to hear. I did not turn away from those questions. I remained beside you through every one of them. Faith that asks honest questions is still faith. Faith that continues waiting is still faith. Faith that struggles is not broken. It is alive. It keeps reaching for me even when it cannot yet see what I am doing. I know how often you accepted responsibility for things that were never yours to carry. You tried to manage other people's emotions, fix situations beyond your control, preserve peace, and hold everything together for everyone around you. You believed that if you carried enough, perhaps everyone else would suffer a little less. Little by little, that responsibility bent your shoulders and drained your spirit. You were never created to carry every burden alone. Some weights were never assigned to you, no matter how deeply you cared. I also see the places where disappointment has caused you to hold yourself back. It was never because you lacked courage. It was because your heart grew weary of being hurt again. You learned to move carefully where you once stepped forward with confidence. You measured every hope before allowing yourself to believe it. That was not failure. It was fatigue, and fatigue deserves compassion rather than judgment. Healing begins when you stop condemning yourself for being tired. I know about the dreams you quietly placed on a shelf because hoping felt risky. I know the desires you buried beneath acceptance and the small parts of your heart that still dare to hope, even when you tell yourself you have already moved on. Sometimes those hopes returned in quiet moments when no one else was around, reminding you that they had never truly disappeared. Those hopes are not foolish. They are still alive, and I have never forgotten them. You do not need to explain any of this to me. I have known every layer of what you have carried from the very beginning. I was with you when you felt alone. I watched over you when you believed no one noticed. I listened even when you thought your voice had disappeared into silence. I knew the prayers that remained in your heart because you no longer had the strength to speak them aloud. There has never been a single moment when you were invisible to me. I am bringing these hidden burdens into the light, not to overwhelm you, but so you can finally begin to release them. What remains hidden often continues to grow heavier, but what is brought into my presence can begin to heal. A burden that is acknowledged can be shared. A weight that is seen can begin to lift. You no longer need to keep holding everything together in my presence. You no longer need to pretend that you are fine. You are safe to be completely honest with me. There is no part of your story that causes me to turn away. I know exactly what you have been carrying, and I am telling you now that you do not have to carry it by yourself any longer. Take a slow breath. Let your shoulders relax. Let your heart rest for a moment. Allow yourself to receive the peace you have spent so long trying to create through your own strength. You are fully seen. You are deeply understood. I am here with you, ready to carry what has become too heavy for your strength alone. Now, my child, I want you to understand something that has puzzled you for a long time. The restlessness you have been feeling is not anxiety seeking to destroy you. It is preparation gently urging you forward. There is an important difference, and understanding it will change the way you view both yourself and this season of your life. Once you recognize that difference, you will begin to see your recent experiences through a different light. Anxiety drains your strength without direction. Preparation stirs your heart with purpose. What you have been experiencing is not your spirit falling apart. It is your spirit responding to the work taking place within you. You may have called that unrest weakness, instability, or something that needed to be silenced. You wondered why peace seemed temporary, why comfort never seemed to last, and whether something inside you had somehow gone wrong. Yet beneath those questions, something deeper has continued to grow, quietly preparing you for what you cannot yet see. Hear me clearly. Nothing is wrong with you. Something within you is changing, and change often creates movement before it brings understanding. Your spirit has become restless because you have outgrown the season you are standing in. The life that once fit you no longer carries the same measure, because I have continued working within you while you were waiting. Growth rarely announces itself with comfort alone. More often it begins with discomfort. What once fit your life begins to feel too small. What once strengthened you slowly loses its ability to sustain you. Familiar places begin to feel unfamiliar, and familiar answers no longer satisfy your heart. That is not failure. It is the evidence of transition. I know you sincerely tried to remain where you were. You adjusted your expectations, changed your habits, reminded yourself to be patient, grateful, and content. And for a while those efforts seemed enough. You gave that season every opportunity to become peaceful again. Then something quiet began to shift inside you. You could not fully explain it, but you could feel it, a gentle dissatisfaction, a growing awareness that remaining where you were was beginning to cost you more deeply than moving forward ever would. That feeling is not anxiety. It is discernment taking shape. Your spirit is not restless because it has lost peace. It is restless because it senses that change is drawing near. Peace is not always found in remaining still. Sometimes peace is found in saying yes to the place where I am leading you next, trusting that I will walk with you every step of the way. Your spirit has already begun to recognize that it is time to move forward, even while your mind keeps reaching for what feels familiar. That inner tension is not meaningless. It is often the first sign that a season is changing, before new doors begin to open, before understanding becomes clear, and before fresh ground appears beneath your feet. Discomfort often comes first, gently loosening your hold on what you have been standing on. If everything always felt comfortable, you would never have a reason to move. Growth would remain unfinished, and the purpose I am shaping within you would remain still. That is why discomfort is not your enemy. It is often a signal that something deeper is taking place. You have outgrown ways of thinking that once protected you, patterns that once gave you security, and environments that taught you lessons you genuinely needed for that season of your life. Outgrowing those places does not mean they were mistakes. It simply means they belong to a season that has fulfilled its purpose. Seasons are never meant to last forever. The quiet restlessness you have carried has been your spirit whispering that what once sustained you can no longer take you where I am leading. That is not ingratitude. It is preparation. I have been preparing you for greater alignment, deeper responsibility, clearer understanding, and a fuller life within my purpose. Remaining where you are may seem easier for a moment, but it would keep you from what I am leading you toward. Deep within your heart, you already sense this truth, even when your thoughts struggle to accept it. If you trust God's power beyond what your eyes can see, type Amen. And if this message has spoken to your heart, share this video with someone who may need this encouragement today.